Yo, yo, welcome back to another episode of Eyekon TV. And today, before we start with my man Kyle Pearce here, I want to give a shout out to my sponsors. Have you ever heard of Honey Packs, Kyle?
I have.
Have you ever taken
Not
one?
familiar with them, no.
Why? You're in great shape, I understand, but nothing like a ped
No.
for the bed. Some Honey Packs.
Appreciate it.
I
Thank you,
wouldn't
brother.
take it during fight week, but let me know how that goes for you.
Appreciate it.
Shout out to Cookies and Vibes. My man is a athlete, so we will not be providing him with any cookies or vibes products today. And I don't have any more left in your size, unfortunately. Shout out to Effortless Motors. They just hooked up Shaq with his new Escalade IQ, if you're familiar with that vehicle
hmm
in general. And I'm sure they just sold an old lady like a Toyota Corolla recently too. So they have everything in between, from Phantoms to used Corollas. So shout to Effortless Motors. And of course, shout out to Shockaware. Make sure you guys check out shockaware.com for all your streetwear essentials. You're in the ring right now, you're super calm. And it's like kind of like offsetting me, a little off-putting rather. Because when you're in the ring, you're like
No, I'm ready to go, man. Yeah.
you're
I'm
locked
moving
in.
around. That's weird, actually. Yeah, I am locked in. My coach thinks I'm really calm for being in the cage. So you get the opposite vibes?
When I see you, your movements are very you're like a quick mover. Does that make sense?
Yeah, yeah.
Or even when I seen you, like I think it was like I don't know how long ago it was. They were doing like end of the year awards, but it wasn't this end of the year. I think it was the other
Yeah,
end of the
the
year.
2023 end of the year.
And yeah, I think you're very charismatic, fool.
Yeah.
Pretty crazy.
Yeah, appreciate it.
I was like, damn, when am I gonna see this guy fight? And then I saw you fight, and I was like, ah, I think it was the time you put that fool in a triangle.
Exactly. Yeah.
Fire.
Yeah.
Then I seen you fight after that, but we'll get there
Yeah.
after that. Where do we begin? Where do we begin? I do have notes. Talk to me about how you ran a. What's the? How would you describe your style of fighting? Because like I seen you in that fight when you put the triangle on that dude. You approached him immediately. You didn't wait for anyone to fill each other out. You ran towards him. Like,
hmm
is that part of your strategy all the time?
Yeah, so when I met my coach Ben Jones,
Shout out to Mr. Jones.
yeah, have you met him before?
Yes.
He's intense, man. And he knows his shit. So when I met him, I was really like studying fighting under him. I'm there every morning and every night, and I'm always in his office after, like picking his brain, like asking about like styles and what people are good at. And then one day I asked, I was like, what am I good at? Like fighting wise. I'm like, I don't know what I'm good at. And he's like, well, he says, we'll figure it out. He's like, over the next year or two, he's like, you're still pretty new in learning martial arts. You'll really like develop your style. And over the last few years, we've developed my style, and it's like erratic. It's in your face. It's frantic. The pacing looks frantic. I'm really only doing two things, but like it just looks like a lot.
It does.
Yeah. Yeah, like I'm in your face, I'm fainting, I'm level changing, and it's a lot for the opponent to deal with. So yeah, there's no feeling out.
What
There's no feeling out. Straight to it.
would you describe it as? Just frantic?
Yeah, yeah, frantic.
Would you say you're leaning more towards striking or wrestling or grappling or
I started off as a striker, but I'm really confident in my submission game now.
hence the last finish I saw?
Yeah.
That was random too.
Yeah. So my wrestling's not quite at the level of my striking, or now it is after the last fight that I had, because I got wrestled for 3 rounds.
Yes, dude. It was very uh it was very unique to see you in that scenario based on my I don't want to say expectations, but yeah, basically my expectations of you. Like,
hmm
damn, he has him on the ground. That's strange.
Yeah, yeah. It was that was the worst experience, like feeling like not really helpless, because I still threw up submissions from my back in that fight. And
No, no, no. You were
he
still
really
in it, but
yeah, he really wanted to hold me down. And I still had him in an arm bar. If I knew a few more things, I could have finished it there. I almost had a triangle again in the last round. And it's like just, working on wrestling, counter wrestling, and I feel like I'm really like well rounded now going into fights.
let's start all the way at the beginning. I haven't seen too many of your interviews, but we're gonna make this the quintessential up to this point. Where did you grow up, and what was it like growing up there, my brother?
So I grew up in Fullerton, California. It's like borderline Brea, Placentia. Like
I'm
right by,
familiar, but for those of you at home, that's the borderline of Orange County.
yeah. So Tri-City Park is like really close to my home.
Mm-hmm.
Growing up, I was hanging out at the country club. You know, I was on the swim team. I grew up playing soccer, water polo, baseball, all kinds of stuff.
So you're athletic naturally.
Hmm.
That's dope.
Yeah.
Any trouble?
Never. No.
That's
That's why when
amazing.
people were finding out that I was fighting, they were like, "What? Kyle
Why?
Pearce? Why? Why would he do that?" You know, he grew up in a gated neighborhood. Like, what the hell's he fighting for? You know?
For fun.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's what it turned into. Yeah.
What's wrong with it? Nah, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you've been athletic and into sports your whole life, basically. So
Hmm.
put on the gloves.
Yeah.
That's cool. Why MMA?
So when I was 19, I got a pair of those like Everlast boxing gloves, and I was going to a UFC gym, and then COVID happened, and that like completely took away boxing for
Facts.
me. So like I wasn't doing it, and then when COVID started, all the live sports went away. So I was like, couldn't watch soccer, couldn't watch anything. The first events to come back was the UFC, and
The bubble.
yeah, the first pay-per-view I ever bought was the Fight Island. It was like
Mm-hmm.
Masvidal versus Usman. You know,
Mm-hmm.
looking back, the fight sucked, but I was like in my living room, like he's stomping on his foot. This is crazy, you know. But that's how I got into it because I saw UFC Fight Island.
So initially we're gonna try to enter boxing, but it got effed up or whatever, and then you saw the pay-per-view and you're like, yo, MMA might be a thing.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I didn't really have any goals in the sport, in boxing or anything. I just wanted to try it. But then once I saw the UFC Fight Island, I was like, okay, I got to do this.
That's crazy, huh?
Yeah.
What would you say the difference is for you? Did you have any expectations going to the boxing gym? Did you even get in like a day of training at all or
I
anything?
never sparred. I never sparred when it was at the UFC gym, and then it closed. Um, I was just doing like the cardio classes. There were a bunch of women in there, and you
Uh-huh.
know, like kids and old ladies. I was like,
And I'm assuming this is your body walking around you. Oh, well, I guess you're in the middle of camp right now, so it's a little
mhm.
different, but I'm assuming you're in shape is what I'm getting at.
Yeah, yeah. I was always in shape.
So yeah, you weren't there necessarily for the cardio fitness class. You were there to figure out how to box.
Yeah, yeah.
And so then COVID closed and then you went back to the UFC gym. Or where'd you
No,
go?
so it actually that gym closed down. It was the one over by Costco in
Oh, yep.
Anaheim. Yeah. So it was there. Um, it closed down, and then there was this gym in Brea. Because everything was closed. You had to go in through the back. You know, police were going around closing stuff up. And so I find this gym called West Coast Athletics. I call the guy. He's like, "Yeah, we're open. Come on in." So I go in, and they beat the shit out of me. It was my first experience.
Explain beat the shit out of you.
You know, like they did it in a nice way because they understood I was new, and they were like,
So day one you sparred.
my day one was a Friday, and Friday was
Friday's
was
sparring day.
Friday was the open mat sparring, and yeah, he cracked me. I'd never really been like hit before. I'd never sparred before, you know, and I'm in there like getting hit, getting lit up, you know. Looking back, it was good for me, but it was rough.
That would be a unique scenario, I think, to just go into a gym day one and just you're on the mat getting to it.
Hmm.
Zero experience.
Hmm.
Who was it that you sparred? Anyone in particular?
The owner of the gym, Christian Wawa.
Or...
So this is my first coach.
Did he have a smile on his face during all of this?
Probably, but I ended up training with him for a year, and we were good friends. So
That's cool.
yeah,
And did you move on to the den from there?
I did. Yeah. So there was a lot of kickboxing at the gym I was at, and there weren't really any like MMA fighters there. There were people like Christian had an MMA fight, but there wasn't anybody
Actually, actively.
actively fighting. And I really wanted to learn MMA. I still didn't really have like a goal of
Yeah, because
fighting.
kickboxing is kickboxing, not quite MMA.
Hmm. Yeah. So I had like point kickboxing fights while I was at West Coast. And then I was like, I want to do MMA. And then I got introduced to the guys. Well, they were from CSW, and then they became the Den. So I met some guys from CSW, and they showed me the Den, and that's how I met Ben.
Your coach looks super intense. I've conversed with him, and obviously he's cool, but I'm sure conversing with him and being his student are entirely two different temperaments.
Yeah, yeah.
Tell me about your first days at the Den.
Man, they were rough. So I was like, I come in and I'm like, I go into a night. First I called Ben on the phone. And I was like, hey, I need a coach. Can you do that for me? And he's like, yeah, I can do that. So I go into the night classes. I'm on my like 3-week trial, and I signed up like a week after my 3-week trial. I knew I wanted to be there. And at the night classes, it's teaching. You go live very little. And then I saw on the schedule there was the Badger Crew fight team practice, and I was like, I can go to that. I'm all right. I'm decent. So I show up to my first Badger Crew fight practice. They beat the out of me. They're dropping me with leg kicks, liver shots, and yeah, it was rough. It was rough.
But you stuck through it.
Yeah. No, I kept coming back. But
why?
I don't know. I just felt like it was something I had to do. I felt like it was necessary to grow, to get better.
Before we move too far forward, how would you describe the difference between your two coaches, your first coach, Christian, and then your second coach, Mr. Jones?
Mr. Jones?
Yep.
Yeah. I think Ben's just obsessed with it. He was obsessive. And I'm not talking down on my first coach or anything like that, but Ben's like all in all the time. And I'm kind of similar in that way. And so we kind of just got each other.
Makes sense.
And Ben has the accolades. You walk into the Den and there's all those belts. He's built fighters from nothing all the way up to state champions and to the UFC. And so I think quality recognizes quality. So
I respect it.
Yeah.
What are your goals with this? Are you trying to go all the way as far as you could go, or?
Yeah, I want to see how far I can take it. I haven't like set an exact goal, but at first it was a fight, and now it's to be Sparstar champion. And then, once that's happened, then we go state champion and then fight pro and then be a pro champion. And then, see where we go from there. Maybe it's the UFC, but who knows? I'm doing this for fun.
Mm-hmm.
I'm doing this for fun.
I respect it.
Yeah.
What do you do in your day-to-day job, if you don't mind me asking, so that way you're able to?
Yeah. So, I work in the family business, and my boss is a Peruvian man, and he's always wanted a son that does MMA. So my job description says operations assistant and warehouse manager, but we've both interpreted that to mean train MMA full time. And I still work in the company. I still help out. He calls me. I get all my done. So
that's love.
Yeah, that's what I do.
Can't be mad at that.
No.
Because it gives you an opportunity to really give it your all. You know what I mean? And that's dope. Talk to me about what a typical day of training looks like for you.
10 a.m. The fight team practice starts. So I'm there 10 to 12. And then after that, I'll go to strength training at 1 o'clock. And then after that, I'm at the Den 6 to 9 p.m.
What's the craziest thing that's happened to you at the Den?
At the Den? Probably wasn't even a fight related thing. Our cage is built a little weird. So the brackets holding the fence are on the inside of the cage. And I was sparring one day with my teammate, and I took a step backwards, and I felt something go into my foot, and I stepped on the bracket and like ripped a hole in my heel.
Oh,
yeah.
How much did that hurt?
It hurt. Like, it didn't hurt initially, because initially I was like, "What the is that?" And then I look at my foot. I'm like, "Oh, there's a hole in my foot." So I was like, "This is so dumb," because it wasn't even like really fighting related. It's just some shit on the floor that I stepped on.
Is that something that happened during a camp or?
No, thankfully of all people, it was me, because we've got guys fighting in the LFA. They're on a run to make it to the UFC,
Mm-hmm.
and so I was like, thankfully it was me not having a fight coming up. That was probably the best scenario, because I couldn't imagine if it was somebody like getting ready for a big fight.
Is it safe to say they covered up the bracket?
Yeah, it's covered now. And every time we go in there, we recover it. Every time we go in there.
God, that would have pissed me off.
Yeah.
Severely.
It did. It really pissed me off, because I was like, dude, I'm supposed to get like black eye or cut with an accidental elbow or something.
How do you enjoy fighting at Sparstar?
Oh, I love it. It's the best show.
Did you have other options to do, or was it Sparstar off the rip?
So I've only ever done Sparstar, but I go to like these other events, and I'm like, dude, this is just, there's no organization. Like, there's so many intermissions. It doesn't seem like I would enjoy being in the back at that show, because I would want to know like around the time that I'm fighting. I don't want to like hang around there all night. Yeah.
Sparstar has a lot of fights on their cards too, like 10 or something, right? Maybe 12.
I just checked the camo, and there's like 21 fights. 7 of them are from my team.
No, yeah, for sure.
But yeah, there's a lot of fights.
Who's your favorite fighter in Sparstar that you've witnessed so far? Out of the 3 or 4 times that you've been there, were you attending Sparstar events prior to you actually fighting?
I did. I went and watched one of my teammates fight, and because I asked my coach, I said, "Hey, can I get in the back? Because I want to see what it's like and feel it out before I go and fight." And he's like, "Yeah." So I went and watched Mauricio fight, and he's actually fighting on Sunday as well.
Mm-hmm.
So that was my first time at like a Sparstar show.
No, I feel it.
Yeah.
I'm there from beginning to end mostly, so I see a lot of unique things take place there. I don't know. Like your triangle was a crazy submission that I was not expecting to witness. I thought you were gonna sleep that fool, if you want to be honest.
I did too, but I rushed in and got my ass slammed, bro.
Yeah, when you got slammed, I was like, oh shit. And then you saw how that, well, they don't know, but you should look up that fight. Just type his name into YouTube and you'll see very quickly. What are some any pre-fight rituals yet?
I don't have any. Just whatever feels natural to me, I do it. I'm not set in any certain way.
What's your diet like during camp?
During camp, a lot of protein.
Like right now, before you pulled up, you're like, I'm gonna grab something to eat. And I was like,
yeah.
What is he gonna grab quick to eat?
Yeah, no, I went home and I made some scrambled eggs and avocado.
No, that makes sense.
Yeah.
How many eggs?
3.
Huh.
Yesterday I had like 8.
In total?
Mm-hmm.
How many eggs are you gonna have today?
Yeah, probably just the 3. I'll switch it up for lunch.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Do you try?
Man,
go ahead.
Those egg whites, they make my farts smell horrible. Like, I'll be at home and I'll fart and I'll air the room out. It's just me. I'll have to leave. That's how bad they stink. And my teammates hate that shit. When I'm in the gym and I just rip ass.
Are you mixing egg whites with regular eggs?
I didn't this morning, but
usually.
Yeah, I will. I'll even put egg whites in like my oatmeal.
Huh.
More protein, makes them
a little fluffier,
thicker. Yeah.
Costco egg whites?
I get them from, there's a Mother's Market like right down the street. Yeah. But my diet, man, I've really dialed it in this time. I don't know if you know, but I was supposed to fight on the last 2 or 3 Sparstar events. Didn't happen.
Because
of my diet.
There's no way you were not gonna make weight.
No, it wasn't not making weight. I was sick. I was the same way I am now, but I looked like death. And everything I was super sick. Everything I ate, I was throwing up.
What were you eating?
I was only eating protein. I wasn't getting any carbs. Like, I went into the gym the last hard week before one of my fights, and my coach is like, "You look like shit." He's like, "Get out of here. Go eat." He says, "All the hard work's done. Just go get healthy."
And so what do you think it was about your diet that was messing you up?
I wasn't eating enough.
Because you're Metabolizing the protein quick, right?
right? But I was like only doing protein. And I had like such a bad relationship with food that like I would eat something and then I would throw it up and or I'd eat another thing and then feel like I had to go run. You know, I was paranoid because I'm like, oh, I gotta make weight.
So
And
now you figured it out.
I figured it out, yeah. And what I realized is like I didn't have like the experience cutting weight because I didn't wrestle in high school. Like there's guys fighting as Sparstar that have some experience cutting weight. This was all new to me.
Mm-hmm.
There hasn't been one fight that I've had where I wasn't like throwing up in the back. All three of my prior fights, I've been throwing up like crazy in the back.
Really?
Mm-hmm. And I said it on another show that I was on, but for my first fight, I passed out in a drive-through because my diet was that I wasn't eating enough.
So what are you doing to like? What carbs are you consuming now that makes you feel cool?
Now oh, I'm eating oatmeal, I'm eating sweet potatoes.
Normal healthy shit.
Yeah, yeah. And I'm like, well, this isn't far outside my regular diet. Like I don't get like super big when I don't have a fight coming up.
Mm-hmm.
So it was like really a major hack for me to like I didn't know I could eat that stuff.
What's your main food that you eat outside of camp that's unhealthy?
Oh, In and Out, dude. In and Out.
How unhealthy is In and Out?
Well, when you eat like I do, it's probably unhealthy.
What are you
So
doing?
my coach asked me this too. I said, "Hey, what should my diet look like outside of like a fight camp?" And he's like, "Well, what's your order at In and Out?" And I'm like 3 double doubles, 2
3 double doubles.
fries and like a root beer.
That's a lot.
He's like, "Well, instead of 3, maybe get 1." And that was it.
Well, maybe it's because of the bread intake. Why don't you just do like a 4x4 or something?
That's a good idea too, but the bread's fucking good, man.
Well, do a 4x4 with the bread. It's fine.
Yeah.
But I'm saying like you're eating 3 of them, so that's 4 more pieces of bread.
Yeah.
And a 4x4 is just 2
Yeah,
pieces of bread.
I figured it out now, man.
So you still ain't eating out.
I haven't in a couple months.
Really?
Yeah.
How long is a camp for you?
I don't even really know what like a camp is because I'm training all the time, but I feel like dialed in, like diet wise and like training wise, not missing a single session is probably about a month.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Like fight camp for boxers is anywhere from like 8 to 12 weeks, depending.
Hmm.
Makes sense. Of people being like super, like you're saying, locked in.
Hmm.
Like you said, training, dieting, et cetera, et cetera. Damn, this fool said 3 double doubles.
Yeah.
And how are you not as fat as me? This doesn't make a lot of sense.
I think maybe I'm training more. I don't know. What's your training schedule like?
It doesn't exist.
Yeah, there it is.
Unfortunately.
I can get away with it, man.
There'll be a time where I'll work out like 4 days in a row,
Uh-huh.
and that'll be it for 3 months just because of my work schedule or what have you.
Yeah.
Which is this, so obviously I can make time, but I'm editing, then I'm mentally exhausted. I have children. How old are you?
24.
I have a child 2 years younger than you.
Wow.
Yeah, I started young.
Get into the den.
Nah.
Come to the night classes. Night classes are good. Still a workout.
Ben's still yelling at everyone all fucking sick.
Yeah.
Is he aggressive in the night class or no?
No, it's more teaching. I learned really early that I was like, oh, this guy's different in the morning.
He's different.
Yeah.
He's
Like,
getting
he's
it all
different.
out.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's
Because I
great.
remember like I was there on like a Saturday class and it's basically like a night classes run. And I sparred Ben and, he baited me into a shot, jabbed me in the face all nice. I
Mhm.
come into the fight practice, baited me the exact same way, but cracked me with a right hand. I was like, oh, yeah, this is not night class Ben.
Significantly different.
Yeah.
How did he bait you? What was the move?
My style is like frantic and moving around. So what he did was he stopped moving entirely. He just like froze there, and so I copied him, and I froze, and then he cracked me.
Boom.
Yeah.
And he knew that was going to happen probably.
Oh yeah. He's like, if I stop, yeah, because he told me how he set it up. He's like, I just froze, and then you froze. Yeah. But yeah, morning class was just different.
How would you describe how you took that loss recently? Like, what was the cause? Have you watched the fight?
Hmm. Oh yeah.
What would you say the reasoning is?
I just didn't put the time in grappling. You know, prior to that fight, I was training like half as much as I am now. I was playing like I wasn't coming into the morning classes. I was like playing Sunday league, but I ever since that, like I texted my coach a few days after the fight. I was like, I think I lost this fight on Mondays and Wednesdays at 10 a.m. because those are our grappling days. I said, I didn't prepare for this. And he's like, you're 100% right. It's all about reps. He's like, you knew what to do, but you just couldn't do it because you don't have the reps. You're missing those 2 days. And so I just stopped playing soccer and started doing wrestling and judo. And so, yeah, now I feel like more complete. You know, it's something I had to experience losing like that to understand like, oh, it's going to take a lot more than what I'm putting in to be good at this.
I was surprised just in general that they went that way.
Mm-hmm.
So I was just like, oh shit. And I saw him because obviously I'm in the corral. I'm witnessing everything like right here. And I'm looking at Mr. Jones screaming at you what to do. And I'm looking at him, I'm looking at you, and I'm looking. How difficult is it to receive instructions in the middle of grappling on the ground and actually executing it?
I can hear him the whole time.
Of course. Well, he's fucking
Obviously,
roaring
yeah,
at you.
yeah, I can hear him the whole time. He said he seems to think I'm a really good listener.
That's fire.
Yeah, he's like you follow game plans, you listen to me in the fight. It was just a skill issue.
Very
Yeah,
basic.
but yeah, I have no problem hearing him. Yeah.
But how hard is it executing the shit that he's saying?
Oh, you know, it's you're in a fight, so it's difficult, but you know, he's there to like remind you. That's what he says. He says, I'm not going to be able to like coach you completely out of a position. He's like, I'm just going to be there yelling reminders to stuff you should already know and should already be habits for
Yeah,
you.
if you're being held like this, do this to
Yeah.
gain leverage,
And
then do this.
those were reps that I wasn't getting in the gym because I was
So you
training
weren't super
half-assed.
familiar with it.
Right, exactly.
Yeah,
Exactly.
makes
So
sense.
he's reminding me of stuff I know, but I just didn't have the reps.
That's fucking crazy, dude.
Yeah. So now I'm excited to get back in there because I feel more complete.
I also can't imagine being in a grappling situation and thinking to myself, "I didn't train for this. That
Yeah.
must have been nasty."
I never thought that in the fight because I'm pretty confident off my back. I mean, in the fight, I almost had an armbar, almost had a triangle, but now I just have like the tools that I needed to finish the fight.
I feel it.
Yeah.
Mentally, how did you feel about the loss? Like, did you take it horribly? Like, walk me through all that.
Now you get in the back and it's like, I told all my teammates, I'm like, I'll go out there the same way. I'll go out there the same way every single time, no matter how it goes. I'll go out there, chest out, head up. Yeah, I didn't take it horribly at all.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
'Cause sometimes that could break someone, you know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah. You know, in the moment you get back there and everybody's pretty bummed, but it's whatever, you know.
Well, yeah, you lost. It's
Yeah,
human emotion.
exactly. It's like that was probably the best way to lose. Because there's some guys that
Oh
come out
no,
of
if you
there
would have got
like
look,
flatlined or anything like that.
and that's perfect that you said that
Yeah.
because I was on my way over here and I was like, I'm about to interview a badass fool right now. They're like, who is it? And I said your name and he was like, I haven't heard of him. I'm like, oh, he fights at Sparstar. And they're like, oh, okay. Because they know I go to Sparstar a lot.
Uh-huh.
And I was like, damn, this fool took an L on the last one though. Because they're asking about your fighting history and shit. And that's the first thing he said. I was like, damn, he took an L though. And he was like, on the mat? Did he get slept? And I was like, nah, he got wrestled for the entirety of the shit. And he was like, ah,
Yeah.
had you got knocked out,
Yeah.
that could be crazy.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
There's no skills for not getting knocked out other than,
can you take it? Can you not? You know?
yeah. Like earlier you mentioned Devin Haney. We're going to see how he recovers from
Yeah.
being knocked up like that because he was beat up pretty bad.
Yeah.
Who's another? Do you watch boxing still?
Not really. Not really big into boxing.
There was a fighter named Errol Spence Jr. Maybe you heard of him?
Mm-mm.
Well, he's a badass dude. And you heard of Terrence Crawford, I'm assuming.
No, I don't know any of these guys. Dude, I'm the biggest casual in this sport.
Fire. That's what I call my podcast, the Casual Experts.
Oh, is this that's what we're on right now? Perfect. I'm the man for the podcast.
So basically, where I'm going with that is, he just got beat this is like a elite level boxer, and he just had the worst day probably,
Mhm.
and he has not came back since. Like, he has not even returned to the ring. So for me to see Devin Haney get beat like that, we're gonna see how he comes back. It's pretty crazy.
Yeah, I like stuff like that. Like there's some guys I would consider them losers just because they didn't come back.
I totally feel that.
Yeah,
Yeah, you're not a loser because you're lost. You're a loser because you stood lost,
yeah,
which
yeah.
is crazy. How are you treating this training camp from the previous ones?
I'm just all in. With the last few fights I've had, even the last few canceled fights I've had, I'm all in on everything, not just training. Training, my coach tells me, he's like, maybe you train a little too much. He says you're all in on the training part, but you're not all in on the diet. You're not all in on like, on the strength training. You're not all in everything that you need to be good at this.
So do that.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's what I'm doing now. I'm just all in on every single part of it.
It's pretty amazing.
Yeah.
How familiar are you with the person that you're about to face?
He fought my teammate back in November, the Honduran Warrior. I don't know his real name, but everybody in my gym calls him the Honduran. But yeah, I've seen both his fights for Sparstar.
I mean, obviously, I'm not gonna ask you to tell me what you're doing to train for this fool, but what do you think his weaknesses are?
His weaknesses are, I think it's gonna be his chin. That's number one. Because I mean, he's been hit in both his fights and his legs are gone. Even my teammate cracked him. And he wasn't there. And then maybe his second weakness is his cardio. Yeah.
Those are two unique things.
Yeah, those are two big things you probably want in a fight.
Cardio you could work on. Your chin is how well you take a punch is just how well you take a punch. There's really no
Yeah.
remedy for that other than not getting punched.
Right. Yeah. And if I'm thinking like if my teammate could do that, I can do that. So I'm pretty confident for it.
Predictions? Do you do predictions?
No, anywhere it goes, I feel like I'll dominate.
Who's your favorite MMA fighter?
My favorite right now is Peter Yan or Justin Gaethje.
Gaethje's those are two entirely different people.
Mm-hmm.
Why?
Peter Yan, I love his stance switches. I love his judo throws. I love how active he is in a clinch. He makes the fight look kind of ugly in the clinch.
Mm-hmm.
And then Justin Gaethje, I wasn't really a fan of until I started talking with my coach about it. I like how he'll find what's working for him in a fight and he'll stick to it. Like he won't just like kick the leg once. He'll kick the leg for the entire fight. And he's like, "Oh, this is doing damage. I'm going to do this a million different ways."
How hard is it? You're training for a fight a certain way. You get in the ring, it is not that way. How hard is it to adjust?
Yeah, that's rough. I think about that sometimes. Like, are guys just gun shy when they get in there? Because like you'll see a guy sparring and he looks like a world beater, but then he gets in the cage and like he freezes up. I don't. For me, I don't know. I don't know if I feel any different. Yeah, I don't feel any different than when I'm in the cage versus the gym.
What exactly does your family think of all of this?
My mom absolutely hates it.
Mhm.
She hates it and she's not invited to any of the fights.
You're not inviting her.
No, she can't come.
Why?
I don't think she would like it, number one, and then I think if she was there, she would freak out. I think she'd pass out.
How about your grandma?
My grandma loves it. Well, my grandma's blind, so She's always there. She's sitting cage side, and she's
Like completely blind or slightly?
she's like slightly blind.
You're an
She
asshole.
has her peripheral. Well, she is. She'll
I'm
be.
like, I just saw her on your Instagram enjoying the beach, fam. Like,
Yeah, she like she has her peripheral vision, so she'll be looking over there, and then she'll say, "Oh, Kyle, you got some shit on your shirt," and I'm like, "Aren't you blind? How the hell can you see that?"
I understand.
Yeah, but she's she's the president of my fan club, and she came to all my sporting events growing up with like a pair of binoculars. And so Heather, the matchmaker at
I'm
Sparstar,
familiar.
she lets my grandma sit cage side. So in all my fights, you can see my grandma right next to the cage. In one of the fights, she's like right next to Ben.
I've seen her there.
Yeah, and she's there with her binoculars. You know, I'm like 2 feet away from her, and she's got her binoculars up against the cage.
Fire.
Yeah, so you know, my first fight on YouTube's like an instant classic family video because you see my grandpa, my dad, my grandma. You know, everybody's in suits. So yeah.
So your mom is just not rocking with it at all.
She said she supports me. She doesn't support what I do. That's what she said. I'm like, okay, I can work with that.
What does your dad think?
He likes my work ethic towards it. I'm sure any parent would prefer their kid not do it, but he supports it.
Fair enough. Who do you think is the greatest MMA fighter of all time if you could pick one?
Oh, all time?
All time.
I don't know. Who do you think? I'd say GSP.
That's a righteous one.
Just because he's lost twice. I think he's lost twice, and then he rematched those guys and beat both of them.
That's fire.
I think that's sick.
I really like John Jones.
Yeah.
I'll say John Jones.
Yeah. I feel like he should like get out, just retire.
I think he's gonna take the Alex Pereira.
Oh yeah, Pereira.
Alex Pereira's. I think if that fight happens and he wins, then he should just float away.
Yeah.
Into greatness.
Yeah.
He's beat a lot of people.
Yeah.
He's beat a lot of significant people.
I think a lot of people stay in the sport too long. Don't know when to get out.
What's a good age to retire in your opinion?
I don't know. It just depends on what you've done in the sport and what your goals are. Like I think of like Conor McGregor. If he had just left after the Eddie Alvarez fight, people would still be talking about this guy like he was a god. It really just depends on like, you know, what your goals are. And
so then like the guy that what's his name? The guy that beat McGregor last badly and spit on him and all that shit. What's his name?
Poirier?
No, Poirier. Did Poirier spit on him
Oh,
too?
Habib. Oh, yeah.
So the way he left is perfect.
Exactly. Yeah.
He left at the tippity. He left at ultimate peak.
Yep. He got out at his peak.
Super. He could have fought a couple more times, but he didn't.
Yeah.
I feel it. So you think John Jones should finish like that's it? Wrap it up.
Yeah.
You think he's gonna lose if he fights?
If he fights Aspinall?
Or
Pereira?
Either of them. Isn't he scheduled to fight Aspinall?
Did that get announced?
Or was that just a meme?
There's so many memes about it right now. But yeah, I think get out. I mean, what the hell?
I don't know.
What's one more win gonna prove?
I feel it. I totally feel that.
Yeah.
He's at a place where he could knock it off, I guess.
Yeah.
The fools don't want to let it go.
No. What are you hanging around for? Get in, get out.
If you were, let's just assume you went on a vicious streak from now. How old are you? You said 24?
I'm 24.
For the next decade, would you quit at 34? Do you think even that's pushing it?
34, man, that's so far into the future. Because I'd be doing this for 10 years. I don't know. It would just depend how my career went.
Whether you were on a run. Yeah. You're undefeated from now till then.
Yeah.
You're in the UFC. I guess it's too wild to say
Yeah.
that because we need to see all the circumstances and how that plays out. But
Yeah.
if you could retire, would you retire by 35? If you could?
From fighting? I don't know. I really don't even have. Again, I'm doing this for fun. I don't even need the money. It's just a hobby. You know.
That's
You know.
crazy.
Yeah.
Oh
Like I could
God.
quit whenever. You know. So I don't know. It's really hard to like put
What made you want
and
to compete?
I
Considering
love
you don't need the bread, like what made you want to? Because I
I
know it's not a gazillion dollars you're gonna make in a week.
yeah. No, I love competing. I love competing, and a lot of it for me is like, you know, I think it's good for me to go through something difficult, you know, because like growing up, I had very little struggle, and I was like, well, I think that's necessary in becoming an exceptional person is to go through something tough and challenging and succeed at it and even fail at it. But I think every man needs that. So that's kind of how I look at fighting.
I respect it.
Yeah. A lot of people want to be perceived as a tough guy. They want to be perceived
That's just for
as,
the birds.
yeah, they want to be perceived as like, you know, tough guy, fighter. But I don't want to be perceived as those things. I don't want to be perceived as a tough guy. I don't want to be perceived as a good fighter. I don't want to be perceived as an exceptional person. I actually want to be those things. And I think this is just fighting is one of the things that, you know, will make me that.
Respect it.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Tell me some good things about the den for people that want to get into fighting. Would you tell them to go there first? First, don't go anywhere. Don't try to learn the basic mechanics of fighting anywhere. Just go straight to the den or no?
Yeah. Go straight to the den. Get out of the UFC gyms. Get out of those cardio kickboxing gyms and come into the Den Training Center in Yorba Linda, California. You know, there's a proven record of building fighters.
He said pull up so I could
Yeah, pull up to the night classes and need more bodies to arm bar and drop with liver shots. But no, it's just the teaching is next level. And what I really like about the gym is like it's all like young guys in the gym.
No, everyone
So
there is hungry.
yeah, it's like even the night classes. There's like you know, there's some girls there. There's like 2 girls there. And so it's like young athletic people and it's scrappy even in the night classes. But the teaching is next level. So a lot of the night classes aren't getting like the education behind fighting. And
Makes
that's the part
sense.
that's the part I really like about the den.
That's pretty fire.
Yeah. So if Ben's not teaching, it's other of his pro fighters teaching.
Yeah, people would experience people that are
Yeah. Yeah.
makes sense. That's crazy. Anything you want to leave the people before we clock out, my brother?
I got nothing. I'll see you guys on Sunday. Make your way to the Commerce Casino after church.
Make sure you follow my guy, Kyle. His Instagram is in the beginning of this episode. Make sure you follow the wonderful, wonderful training facility he goes to, the Den. And yeah, Commerce Casino this Sunday is going super duper down. Take care, guys. Like, share, and subscribe.
That's crazy.